Hi folks, welcome to the Facebook page for Counterfeit Kiss for another video. It's my turn this week. This morning it's been beautiful outside, so I thought I'd sit outside, get some rays of sun and put my shades on and before I did the video. And well, this week, sorry, what's that? Have my glasses on? Okay. Oh, sorry, left my shades on. Sorry about that. Yes, Daz with you for another video right here on the Facebook page. Now then, there's only one person that we could really talk about this week. One of the original 4 members of Kiss turned 70 years old this past week. We're talking about this guy, the Space Ace, Ace Frehley, 70 years old this week. The original Spaceman. Ace was the last of the 4 members to join Kiss back in 1973. Paul, Gene and Peter had formed the trio. They were looking for a lead guitarist. An advert was put for somebody with flashing balls or something like that. And Ace Frehley applied and got the gig. And there you are. First album, of course, 1974. First album outside of Kiss was much later, but of course the first solo album that Ace Frehley did was this one. Along with the other 4 members of Kiss, they all did a solo album. September 1978 these were released. They were all released at the same time. This was Ace's. For me, of all the solo albums, this is the best one, and it really is a solo album. Ace Frehley more or less did everything on this album. He played guitar, rhythm guitar, lead guitar, acoustic guitar, bass, synthesizer guitar, vocals, backing vocals. The drummer on this album was a guy called Anton Fig, who would figure into the Kiss story a little bit later. Anton Fig was the guy that played most of the drums on Dynasty and all the drums on the 1980 album Unmasked for Kiss. So there you go, Ace Frehley's 1978 solo album. I don't have the single that came with it. New York Groove was the single that was taken from Ace's solo album. And again, New York Groove was a massive hit in America. It really was. And it was the most successful of the solo singles. Of course, he was featured on this, the best of the solo albums. This album says 1978 on it, but it's got a picture of the Dynasty album, which was 79. I have a feeling that this particular album actually came out in 1980, released in 1980. New York Groove, Rip It Out and Speeding Back to My Baby are the Ace Frehley tracks featured on there. Once Ace Frehley had left Kiss in 1982, there was a really long gap, almost 10 years from his solo album. He put out this in 1987, Frehley's Comet. Ace Frehley, Frehley's Comet, featuring Anton Fig, who we were just talking about, on drums. Also, Todd Howarth. Todd did a lot of lead vocals and sang some songs as well. Great little album this. Rock Soldiers is on this record. 1987, Ace's first solo album outside of Kiss. 1988, the second solo album was this, Second Sighting. This features a different drummer. Anton Fig wasn't in the band. He was replaced by Jamie Oldacre. Sadly, Jamie Oldacre passed away last year. Very famous session rock musician. Frehley's Comet, Second Sighting. The band themselves were known as Frehley's Comet at this particular point. Following the release of Second Sighting, they put out an EP, Live Plus One, 4 live tracks plus 1 studio track. Words Are Not Enough is the studio track on here. Great little pop rock record. Again, these are all original releases. After that, 1989, he did this one. Ace Frehley, Trouble Walking. This is a great little album. This was produced by Eddie Kramer as well. Now, Eddie Kramer produced quite a few Kiss albums along the way, including Ace's 78 solo album, Trouble Walking. This is an original. This features Peter Criss on a track called Too Young to Die. Nice little fact for you there. 1989. And then there was a massive gap. Frehley for a few reasons really. Ace Frehley had some personal problems, quite a severe alcohol addiction. And then back in 2009, he put out this, Anomaly. I only have it on CD. It's quite rare on vinyl. Anomaly. It's on a tiny label called Seasons of Mist. I think they've recently reissued it on vinyl, but at the time it was quite rare on vinyl. Ace Frehley, Anomaly, 2009. Looking at my notes. After Anomaly, he did this one, Space Invader, which was more successful than his Anomaly album, because he got more sort of famous again within the sort of realms of the rock sort of scene, because he disappeared for ages. Ace Frehley, Space Invader. This album came with a free CD in it. This is the orange vinyl version. Some nice pictures of Ace on it on the inside as well. There you go, the orange vinyl. This record, like I said, came with a free CD with it, which I think is brilliant, because vinyl records are so expensive these days. You can be paying 25, 30 quid just for a single album. And I always think it's quite cute if they put a CD in there. You know, sometimes they're just in the slipcase, in just a slipcase. Just gives you that opportunity to play it in the car or whatever. There you go. 2014, Space Invader came out. And then he put out this, Origins. I got the wrong record there. Origins. 2016 Origins. His first album of some of his favourite songs, cover versions, but there's also a really nice version of Kiss's War Machine on this. He said he wanted to record War Machine for ages because he never got a chance to actually be on it on the Creatures of the Night album, and he really likes it as a song. War Machine on that record. Origins Volume 1. Come on. After Origins Volume 1, he did this. Get to this one that we just showed you a little bit of. Bronx Boy. This is an EP. 2018, I think. Yeah, 2018. Bronx Boy, which was then followed. This is an EP by the Spaceman album. This was like the precursor of the Spaceman record. This is a purple vinyl copy of it. Again, this came with a free CD in the slipcase. 2018, Bronx Boy EP and Spaceman album. Of all the Kiss members, Ace Frehley has to be the most prolific musically. He's done lots and lots of stuff since he left Kiss. It was a bit of a shaky start. It took him ages to sort of get going. But once he did get going, solo-wise, he's had a very prolific and successful solo career as well. This is Ace Frehley's latest album, Origins Volume 2. Another collection of some of Ace's favourite songs. He also does a version of Kiss's She on this record. Good little album. I forgot to say that on this album, Paul Stanley is featured on this album. On Fire and Water, Paul does a vocal on this, on the Origins Volume 1 album. Forgot to tell you about that. There you go. There's this is Ace's latest album, Origins Volume 2. This is a nice little reissue, Christmas reissue of the album with the fancy double-coloured vinyl. I can show you that. There you go. Well, this is an interesting little copy because this is a misprint copy, which is probably quite rare now, because if you look very closely, you'll see that that says side A, and also the other side says side A. It plays as it should do, but it's got the wrong labels on it. It's got two side A's on it. Of course, in 2011, Ace Frehley wrote his book, his autobiography, a rock and roll memoir. John Leyden and John Ostrowski, I think I got that right, with Ace Frehley, No Regrets. Of all the original member autobiographies, I think Ace Frehley's is the best. He's the most honest, to be fair. He admits that he made many wrong decisions along the way and regrets not getting sober and clean before you might have been able to rejoin KISS on a full-time basis. Like I say, Ace Frehley's book, I think, is the most honest of all of them. If you've got any views, comments, questions, all that kind of stuff, stick them down here in the comments section. If you've got something that you wanted to say, maybe correct me on something, you know, I'm not got a problem with that. We all like to learn. But for now, stay safe, mask up. Sean will be with you next week for another video. And I hope you've enjoyed this one. And we'll catch you soon. Ta-da.